everyone. My name is Pedro, and I am a person who stammers. I would like to begin by thanking you for being here, and say that it's an honor and a pleasure to be here doing this. Who would say? I'm not, and I don't pretend to be a professional presenter. And I don't come here with many data. This is a kind of an empirical presentation. It's supposed to be a conversation or a kind of empirical monologue. The data that I have some here, but they are still actual, but they are not from. It's just from Europe, but I would like to say too that my English, it's not my first language. I don't speak much English as that, but I have conscious that it's enough to make myself understandable. And that is what we're going to see. That is one of the challenges here. Anyway, feel free to interrupt whenever you want. If you have any question, this is, at least I'm going to try to take it as an exercise. It is an exercise that it's going to set, I hope, in other exercises. If we say like this, I'm going to talk, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes, let's see. And I hope we keep with some time to questions and talk a bit. I don't know what I'm going to say. It's fair. It is coherent. If it's going to make sense, if I'm going to make myself understand, but I never know that. But anyway, it is important. Speech language pathologists are really important. It is important to have speech language pathologists specialize in stuttering. Are they really necessary? Are they really important? That is where I start with this presentation. It's here that I want to pretend to have a reflection, not so much in the specificities or the strong points or the different approaches, the methods or the methodologies. No, it's just to have a superficial look and an empirical one. Are they important or not? Are the speech language pathologists specialized in stuttering important pieces in this chess board? Let's do this metaphor in the chess board of the fighting of the dark side of stuttering, in the production of science, in teaching, pedagogy, therapy, making the bridge between speech language pathologists that don't stammer with people who stammer, etc. I guess the answer, or the generic answer, is yes. Speech language pathologists are important. So if they are important, let's take a look more closer. So among the population of speech language pathologists specialized in stuttering, we've got many groups, right? We've got men, women, different ages, different interventions, different approaches, etc. We are not going to look at that. I'm not going to look at that. We're going to look just for the two groups that are. You've got the guys, the speech language pathologist who doesn't stammer, and you've got the ones who stammer, right? Right. There are differences between them. The ones who stammer know that yes, and the ones that don't stammer know that yes too. Both of them complement themselves, right? They enrich themselves, they enrich the field of study of speech language pathology. What do you think? I think everyone that is here agrees that yes, what I'm saying makes sense. The ones that don't stammer, speech language pathologists that don't stammer, they are good speech language pathologists specialized in stuttering. They become good speech language pathologists specialized in stuttering. Yes, they do. The ones that don't stammer, yes, they do. There is a history related with that. There is a, can we name some names? Of course we can. In the other room, there are plenty of them, but some who stammer, some who doesn't stammer. Good. The people who stammer, so the ones that don't stammer, they give good speech language pathologists specialized in stuttering. And the ones who that stammer, they become good speech language pathologists specialized in stammer. What history says, the ancient and the recent one. Do we know any speech language pathologist that stammer himself? At least one, dead or alive, is good in his job. What do you think? What's your idea? Do they help in the past and do they help now people? Many people. They change the life of many fellows for the better. Do you know any speech language pathologist who was important for the field of speech language pathology, who was in the who helped to the discipline to appear? I heard this morning someone talking about Charles Van Riper, for example. Okay, good. That's good. I don't know if you're following my thoughts. This is, as I said, a practice. It's just that. I have another question that is, are the number of speech language pathologists specialized in stuttering that exist enough to face the necessities, individual necessities, community necessities, etc., in what stuttering is about? Local necessities, where you live, where you are in this moment, on your village, on your city, national necessities, global necessities, necessities that the problematic, that the condition rises, old and new, are they enough? Are the ones that exist enough? I think the answer is no. So we need more speech language pathologists specialized in stuttering, right? Everyone agrees with that. That would be good. Good. So let's look now for the distribution of the speech language pathologists specialized in stuttering. Where are more and where are less? Where are more speech language specialized in stuttering? In what countries, in what regions of the globe? I think the globe is still over there, right? It's still being projected. I forgot to take it. But anyway, so I don't have that, I don't know how to do that. So if we put the speech language pathologist specialized in stuttering, if we made the distribution in the globe, in which countries, in which area of the globe, in the north, in the south, where do you think that you would point the pins or wherever? And if someone was able to do that. I was not able to do that. I think we all agree that the majority of the speech language pathologists specialized in stuttering are in the North region, in America, UK, Canada, in those places. Specialize in stuttering. So there is an imbalance, I think this is the word, between the North and the South. Not just the North and the South of America, not just Europe and Africa, but between the North and the South of Europe. I apologize for the fact that I'm not going to think or I'm excluding the other parts of the world because I'm going to think just to talk about these areas because it's where I have some knowledge, let's say, and I have some authority to talk. Once that I am a Portuguese citizen, I am an European citizen. I am a world citizen too, but let's leave the world for another time. I'm going to make a parenthesis to say that Europe here is very important because Europe is I don't know if fountain is the right word to use here, but it's the nest of the languages that populated, that colonized the globe. And they were running those territories until a few a couple 50 years ago, let's say like this. So Europe has responsibilities, let's say like that, on the difference between on the fact that in those countries you don't have, in my opinion, of course, this is just my opinion, in the fact that you don't have speech language pathologists specialized in stuttering over there, or speech language pathologists. Anyway, coming back to the imbalance or the fact, well, I think you guys get what I was. Let's look now to the factors that are related with that imbalance. Many factors play for that, of course. Many factors play for that. It's not what I was telling just that it's Europe's responsibility. No, many factors play for that. But for me, I think there is one that is particularly significative. It's subtle, but is particularly important. And now let's look to Europe. For the Europe of Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, the Europe for the European community. Maybe we could look to South America, but whatever happens in South America was in a certain way imported from the matrix, from the discriminatory matrix, let's say like this, that runs in the southern European countries. What is the origin, in my opinion, of that imbalance? Is the fact, in my opinion, is the fact that the majorities of the universities that teach speech language pathology paradoxically discriminate people who stammer in their access, in the pre-requirements. In the majority of them, not all of them, but in the majority of them, there is a sentence that says if you're not fluent, if you go to a speech language pathology and you show that you're not fluent, you can't come in. Unless, of course, it's like a favor. They have to do as a favor. So it is my opinion that it's over here that a big part of the problem is, and so if a big part of the problem is here, the resolution is here too, because it is in these universities, in the European universities that teach speech language pathology, that people who stammer, young people who are interested in doing it should be studying speech uh, pathology. It should be over there. That should they it's not, they don't have universities in Cape Verde, in Angola, in Mozambique, and in the other countries. They have in South Africa. So I'm sorry, just because
Pedro, sorry to jump in. I just want to say something real quick. Could you introduce Jerry at 2 o'clock?
sorry.
He is the next speaker. Jerry will speak at 2 o'clock, and if you could introduce him, that would be great.
Okay. It is
Two
in
o'clock.
10 minutes, right? It is in.
It'll be 13 minutes. So if you could
Okay.
introduce him at 13 minutes, I've got to run over to the breakout room number 1. I just wanted to bring that up. But thank you.
I don't know him, but I will try to do that. Okay.
Excellent presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So where where I was, no, yes, the young Europeans and the young Africans, I was over there. They don't have other place to study speech language pathology with quality, or with the quality that the problem demands. The country that speak English, if we, for example, we saw this morning many people from the from the countries that speak English in Africa, from Ghana, from Kenya. They were over here sharing their stories. Why? Because in the countries. Why? Because in the the US and in the UK, these discrimination doesn't exist. I think there is a relation between that. So sorry, I'm a bit lost. So anyway, the time is coming to. Well, I'm going to. I don't have. Let me see. Just a
You
minute.
still have time, Pedro.
Okay.
Take your time.
So the ones who don't stammer, they become good therapists, specialize in stuttering. We have looked into this question. Yes, the ones who, they are important in fighting, let's say like this, the dark side of stuttering. The ones who don't stammer, but they are speech language pathologists. Yes, extremely good. And the ones who stammer, they become good speech language pathologists, specialized in stuttering. Yes, we've seen that. Some of the people who stammer would like to become speech language therapists, specialized in stuttering. I think that the answer is yes. It's more common, the inclination to rise or to bore. No, I don't know what to say in English. In one person who stammer, or in one person who don't stammer, the tendency or the inclination to become a speech language therapist specialized in stuttering. I think I risk to say that the desire, it's bigger in the ones that stammer. The ones who stammer that become speech language therapists probably they are going to become specialized in stuttering. I risk to say yes. With a special eye for the sing, right? So I'm going to this is a practice I told you before. So I'm just going to make a kind of a conclusion. Anyway, a conclusion. I think my opinion is that as a community, we have to make some pressure. We have to make something for the universities that teach speech language pathology become something or a kind of a safe haven for people who stammer. The ones that want to go to study over there. I risk to say, especially for the ones from the countries more more vulnerable. I think we as a, 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 a community, we have a moral obligation to require that, to fight for that, even to fight for a positive discrimination in the access to the speech language therapy courses, not as a kind of, I don't know what to say the word in English, a kind of payment for the incomprehension, for the not as a payment in of the universities for the bad behavior that they had with us, in my opinion, in the last 15 years, but because many would benefit from that. The universities will benefit for that. The ones who don't stammer will benefit from that. All society will benefit of, 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 for that. So whatever that is happening, I think we must organize ourselves to end that, because well, we are in the 21st century. We are not in the 20th century, and I think we have to fight to the, how do we say, the things that were conquered in the last part of the last century. We have the obligation to fight to keep them in, at least in the first part of this century. And this was my presentation. Thank you for everyone who was here listening to me. We have 5 minutes. If you want to say something, feel free.
Thank you very, very much for your presentation. And I think that you make a very good and very important point here, that it has lots of positive sides to have SLPs who stutter, because they have the experience of what it's like to stutter, so that they have both parts of the coin. So yes, I do think that um, it, it should be open to people, not just people who stutter or people who don't stutter, or female, male, or whatever. It should be a job for the best person. So if that person stutters, well, even better. So I totally agree with your point, that I don't understand why many countries allow people who stutter to become SLPs. Why there are still some countries who don't want to, for for different reasons. So thank you very much for your important presentation. Thank you.
One question from you, Pedro, that in what ways do you think that an SLP who stutters could be different than an SLP who doesn't stutter? So what would be the strength of them?
I don't know if I understood well. What is the difference between the ones who stammer and the ones who don't stammer? Is that?
In what way could they treat people who stutter differently? In what way could they have a different approach to people who stutter?
Uh, well, I don't think it is just to treatment that is important. For example, in science, in the research, science is important, right? Knowledge about stuttering is 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 important. If I went to study speech language pathology, I will not be working with children. It was not my thing, but the field is so big that I am sure I was able to make science related with stuttering. I would be able to think about, well, it's not just me, it's happening in the other room. You've got guys that stammer, that are doing, they are not treating people directly, but they are indirectly producing tools and knowledge to give the best treatment, let's say, to a person who stammer, because they, in my opinion, we, the people who stammer, we are not better or less than the guys that don't stammer. But related with stammering, we have an extra. We don't have a minus, we have a plus. Definitely, right? It is, they can speak about the feeling of being a person who stammer. They can't write that. They can speculate about that, but they never been there, right? So, and that is experience, and a speech language pathologist with that experience, it's why the it's why probably the best. I don't like to say things like this, but in the group of the best, or the guys that made a big difference in the field, you've got guys who stammer themselves. So why in countries like my country, or Spain, Italy, France, you're not allowed to have them? It's because of that. What I was trying to point over here is that it's because of that that in the African countries you don't have because they can't come to your universities to study the field, and was very important in Africa, for example, to have speech language pathologists specialized in stuttering that stammer themselves more than speech language pathology specialize in stuff, not more, but it's not more, but it is important. It's why Emmanuel, a guy that was talking in the other room, person from Ghana, makes a difference, a huge difference. It's not just him, he's the man.